Hey guys, hello everyone, I'm Vika Vinogradova. This is Vika, Recipes for Lazy People, and today we have 10 of the most delicious variants of puff pastry baking. For different tastes, both sweet and savory, with fruits, berries, ham, cheese, greens, whatever you like. What unites them all? The fact that they are very easy and simple to prepare. First, I'll show you how to make very cool cherry layers. Also, how can you make them beautiful and prevent the dough from getting soggy due to the cherry juice? And I will also show two variants at once. We will have cherries with chocolate, and in the second variant, cherries with cottage cheese. Incredible combinations. We roll out the dough into a long rectangle. Puff pastry without yeast will be best for these layers. We divide the dough into 4 parts. We make cuts with a knife on each one. This is both for beauty and so that air can escape during baking. We only make cuts on half of the rectangle. For the filling, we take a cherry and add sugar to it. This will reduce the amount of juice in the cherry and won't let the layers get soggy. Lay out the berries, which can be fresh or frozen. You can use strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, or currants. It doesn't matter, it will be tasty with any of these berries. In the first variant, we add pieces of chocolate to the berries. We fold the layers in half. And we press down around the edges with a fork. In the second variant, we first lay out the curd cheese or soft curd. We add a little powdered sugar and a cherry on top. We also fold it in half and press it with a fork along the edges. We smear the layers with yolk or butter. And we send it to the oven for 15 minutes. And look at the beauty that turns out. This is what the chocolate filling looks like, and this is what it looks like with cottage cheese. Sour sweet lovers will appreciate it. Well, guys, this is just a knockout. The next recipe is for Khachapuri lovers. They will be lazy, in the Adjarian style. Well, those are the ones with an egg in the center. Very, very cool. First, we grate the cheese.
Take the one that melts well.
I have suluguni. Next, sprinkle the table with flour. And we start working with the dough. For this recipe, yeast dough is more suitable. We roll it out. We cut it in half. Next, I'll show 2 ways to make a boat for Khachapuri. In the first version, we make such cuts on the sides. The margin is very small. We lay out the cheese in the center, and on top of it, we put on a cut as if dressing it. 1 and 2. We give the edge. And we get such a boat. In the second version, we make cuts around the perimeter. At the same time, we do not connect the cuts at 2 opposite corners. It should turn out like this. Now we lay the sides. We adjust it a little bit. And we get such an interesting little boat. We also sprinkle cheese in the center. We smear the surface of the dough with yolk. And into the oven for 15 minutes. Then we take it out, make a deepening with a spoon. And we lay out the yolk. On one khachapuri and on the other. And just for a few minutes in the oven. It looks impressive, doesn't it? And while everything is still hot, while the cheese is stretching, we add a little bit of melted butter and eat. Next, we have ice cream with cream and berries. My recipe uses fresh strawberries, but you can also use frozen strawberries, other berries, or other fruits. Please, that's what the imagination suggests. We don't even roll out the dough. We cut it into rectangles, fold each one in half, pinch the sides, and slightly push the bottom to make something like a boat. We sprinkle nuts or beans on the bottom so it doesn't puff up too much. We grease it with vegetable oil and bake it for 15 minutes. While they're baking, we make the cream. We mix butter, sour cream, and condensed milk. Blend it with a blender and the cream is ready. We take out our ice cream cups, start with the cream, and lay fruits or berries on top. And I'll also show you a really cool sweet pizza with blueberries, pineapples, and condensed milk. Oh, the thing is absolutely bombastic. Yeast puff pastry is best for such a pizza. We roll it out slightly, we don't make it thin. We lightly run a knife along the edges to make borders. We don't cut all the way through, just press down. We lay pineapples in the center and strawberries between them. We're going to the oven for 20 minutes. After we take it out, we pour it with condensed milk and it's ready to eat. The pizza tastes sweet and sour. The condensed milk goes perfectly with the pineapple and bacon. The thing is very tasty. You can use fresh or canned pineapple, but canned has much less juice. No need to clean. Everything is cut, ready, and beautifully laid out for you. Kiwi can be used in place of pineapple for a delicious combination. Well, instead of strawberries, for example, blackberries, blueberries, cherries will also be excellent. The next recipe is for lovers of foamy drinks, as it's a tasty pastry that pairs well as a snack. We will have such sticks with bacon inside with cheese. Aromatic, tasty eyes are drawn, I tell you. Again, we take the yeast-layered dough and cut each sheet into 6 parts. We roll it out. We lay out the bacon. Sprinkle with grated cheese. We roll it up into a sausage. We seal the edge so that the cheese does not melt. We smear it with butter or margarine and into the oven for 15 minutes. Such a cool thing turns out, really, a chic snack, and just like that to nibble. And next up are very cool lazy buns with cinnamon and nuts. Roll out the dough. You can use yeast or not, it doesn't matter. Sprinkle it with sugar, cinnamon, and crushed walnuts. We roll it up into a roll and cut it into buns. We lay out the buns on a baking sheet lined with baking paper or a silicone mat. Smear with egg yolk or butter and bake for 15 to 20 minutes. By the way, you can make buns with cheese and greens in the same way. We grate the cheese for the filling. Take any that you like. Chop the greens. I have parsley. You can take dill, cilantro, basil, depending on what you like. Add a little oil to the greens. Salt, pepper, a little dried garlic for flavor. Roll out the yeast dough for better taste. We lay out the filling made from greens. We spread it not to the end so that the edge remains empty. Sprinkle the top with cheese and roll it up. We secured the edge so the roll wouldn't unravel. Cut it into portion-sized pieces. We lay it out on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper or a silicone mat. We brush it with egg yolk. You can sprinkle some caraway seeds on top. And into the oven for 15 minutes. Here they are, rumpled, beautiful. The cheese stretches beautifully. Next, we have apple strudel. While simply prepared with puff pastry, it's just as delicious as in expensive restaurants. Soak raisins in hot water and peel apples. A very cool recipe. Instead of apples, you can use pears or cherries. It will also be delicious. We cut the apples into small cubes. In a separate bowl, mix cinnamon, flour, and sugar. Sprinkle the apples with this mixture. Stir and leave for 20 minutes for the apples to release juice. Meanwhile, we gently chop the walnuts. Add breadcrumbs and sugar to the nuts. Roll out the yeast-free dough. In this recipe, it's delicious specifically with yeast-free, so the dough is thin and crispy. Drain the juice from the raisins, mix with the nuts, and lay out on the dough. We place the apples on top and roll it up into a roll. We pinch the edge, lay it on a baking sheet with the seam down, brush with egg yolk, make small longitudinal cuts, and bake for 40 minutes. After that, we take it out, cut it into portion-sized pieces and serve it just like that or with a scoop of cold ice cream. Indeed, if you're going to make it, be sure to add a scoop of ice cream. Because the cold plum in combination with the hot layered dough and this aromatic filling, guys, it's just a song, honestly. The next recipe is a very cool roll with ham, with tomatoes, with cheese, with cornichons. It's indescribably delicious. To start, we cut the ham, tomatoes, and cornichons into cubes. We grate the cheese on a grater. We roll out the dough. I have yeast dough here. We smear it with mustard. We sprinkle cheese on top. And we lay out the filling. We roll it up tightly. We seal the edge. Flip the roll onto a baking sheet seam side down and brush with egg yolk. And sprinkle with poppy seeds. Send it to the oven for 20 minutes. And the final recipe will be chocolate orange. I filmed it for New Year's, so it was in the shape of a Christmas tree for me. Of course, the way I did it is not mandatory, you can give it any other shape. The key feature is its extremely simple and delicious filling. I took yeast dough and rolled it out into a small circle. I put chocolate with nuts, cedar apple, and a little dried pumpkin in the center. A very tasty combination for the filling. Then I arrange everything into such a fir tree. Instead of a fir tree, you can make layers, like in the first version when we prepared them with cherries. We smear the surface with egg yolk. You can decorate the top with chocolate sprinkles or sugar. Bake it for 15 minutes. Chocolate with cedar apple, with nuts, guys. This is divine, really. What else can be said here? I have another collection of puff pastry recipes on my channel. I'll leave it in the video description. Also, check out the other cool recipes there. That's all from me. Thank you for watching this video. Wishing everyone a good mood and bye.